of 87. Lofty dreams indeed, but things seemed to be going on track all through high school. I did well in math and sciences, and particularly poorly in English, for the record, spending my summers playing music, chamber music camp, not band camp, thank you very much, or working in biology laboratories. Did I ever show an inclination to cook? Not really. I took an after-school cooking class in 3rd grade, where I'd learned to make simple syrup and stone soup. My dad trained me in the art of making open-faced tuna melts on Saturdays. He also taught me a valuable lesson in how not to cut a block of frozen beef straight from the freezer into steaks, a memorable afternoon that included the line, "Kenji, go get me the hammer," and concluded with shards of knife all over the kitchen floor and beef still as blocky as it ever was. My specialties all through high school were half-assed guacamole and perfectly heated frozen chicken pot pies. The one time I did exert myself in the kitchen, I produced a batch of what I thought were some pretty awesome almond tuiles coated in chocolate and filled with raspberry preserves. Being the incurable romantic that I am, I'd slaved over them for my high school girlfriend for Valentine's Day, see? Turns out she wasn't as into romantic nerds as I thought she was. I got dumped on Valentine's Day, her dad ate the tuiles, and my fledgling cooking career was put on hiatus. The time for me to move upward and onward with my college education finally came, and I entered the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, that temple of science where nerd folk congregate en masse to talk hertz and bytes, and the average student wears only 2/3 of a pair of shoes during winter. I brought down the average. For a while I fit right in, finally at home amongst my fellow geeks, reveling in the fascinating subculture and learning more than I'd ever learned before, mostly about such scientific puzzles as precisely how many whiskey and cokes it takes before the next morning's hangover will prevent you from attending an 11 a.m. lecture. But slowly, a grim reality dawned on me. I loved biology and science, but I hated working in biology labs. It was the slowness of it all, the months and months of experimenting that would finally reveal results that showed you were wrong all along. And could you please repeat those tests? I got restless. I got annoyed. And I did what all heroes should do in a time of crisis. I ran away. That's right. That summer, I made the conscious decision not to take another job in a biology lab. Here I was, in the prime of my youth, pissing it away playing with pipettes and DNA sequencers. I set out with the goal of taking as non-academic a job as I possibly could. Waitering seemed like a good gig. Meet cute girls, eat good food, hang out with cooks, party every night because I don't have to show up to work until 3 p.m. Basically, a repressed college kid's dream. As it happened, the first restaurant I walked into, an abysmal Mongolian grill-style joint in Harvard Square, wasn't in need of waiters, but it was desperately in need of cooks. Without hesitating, I signed on, and that was the beginning of the end for me. Like a head injury patient who suddenly develops a brand new personality, something snapped the moment my hand touched a knife in a professional kitchen. I was no longer in control of my own destiny. Since that day, since the first time I wore that silly baseball hat and the t-shirt that identified me in no uncertain terms as a knight of the round grill, seriously, I was a cook. It didn't matter to me that I knew nothing about cooking, and that my job mostly consisted of flipping asparagus spears with my double-fisted spatulas. I knew right then that I'd discovered what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I was ravenous. I tore through every cookbook I could lay my hands on. Going to the beach? Forget the frisbee. I'm bringing Pepin. Friends heading to a movie? I'll be in the kitchen with my dog-eared Chinese cookbook. I worked in restaurants as much as my class schedule would allow, making up for a lack of experience with brute force and sheer willpower. Unfortunately, what with trying to attain a degree and a decided lack of a cooking mentor, the closest I had was our fraternity chef.